dust off your rah-rah skirts and leg warmers. We'll be stepping back to the 80s with Belinda Carlisle and Boy George.
Now then. If you're a fan of 80s music, you are in for one very special treat. Our guests tonight, Belinda Carlisle and Boy George, sold millions of records, there they are, individually.
So your Jimmy Savile impersonation.
Well, you know, going back to the 80s, I thought I'd relive it with you.
Well, we are going to come to you in a minute. We definitely will, but we're just going to say, imagine what they could do on stage together with a few other 80s icons chucked into the mix. Dig out your leg warmers and dust off those shoulder pads. Your 80s icons are coming to town. Jason, George, Shirlie, Belinda and Midge are teaming up together to present their soundtrack to the decade with the 10th anniversary Here and Now concert.
I have an emotional connection with the 80s. You know, there were some wonderful pieces of songwriting from that period, and this concert and is a celebration of that, and it's the 10th anniversary, and it seems like the perfect marriage, really.
The audience are going because they want to see, you know, what do they look like, and they're looking for their memories. So I think the confidence. No, I'm really confident about it.
The whole ethos of it is simple. It's you know, it's hit after hit after hit after hit. Creativity of the period was great, fashion-wise, music-wise, using new groundbreaking technology. All of that stuff paid off. That's why it's still there and relevant today.
There you go, guys. Midge Ure says it's still relevant today. What do you think?
Well, I think the 80s, you know, and nobody liked the 80s at the time. That was the funny thing. Everyone, they said we were vacuous, too much hairspray, killing the ozone. But I think...
Are you still using hairspray?
I mean, I've got no hair.
Great.
But I think that, you know, now I think people, I suppose there's nostalgia. We're all getting a bit older, so you can kind of look at the decade with a bit more affection, I think. And it was great. It was a very experimental time.
What do you think?
Well, I think that the music, I mean, I think it was probably the last great decade of a sound and a look.
It was distinctive,
Not
wasn't it?
necessarily a good look, but a look. And I know it's like the 50s and 60s or the 80s, and it sort of transcends itself and becomes something bigger. And the production, the production had.
And for better or worse, we dressed ourselves. You know, we made our own fashion mistakes, but we did it ourselves.
They were memorable anyway, weren't they? And looking at that video, there's such cracking songs, absolutely fantastic. Boy George, you said before that you were less keen to do the Here and Now concerts. What kind of changed your mind?
Well, I think for me personally, I kind of reclaimed the 80s a few years back. You know, I kind of got to a point where I sort of got over it. You know, I mean, because I do lots of other things, you know, I can dip into that now with a smile on my face. So I kind of, you know, I realise now that those songs are kind of a very important part of my life.
And other people's lives.
Yeah, exactly. And these gigs, they're very affectionate. We've done a few this year too, and they're so affectionate. You know, they do like crowd karaoke, and it's quite emotional. You know, hearing like 20,000 people singing your songs. It's beautiful.
You said earlier that you were a bit older. I'm glad you said that, because I was trying to think of a polite way of saying it. So is it still mad parties backstage or tea parties?
Oh no.
No, it's probably tea parties.
It's herb tea and Bikram yoga these days.
Exactly. Yeah. It's those days are long gone. Well, sort of long gone anyway. Semi-long gone. Yeah.
But we're able to kind of enjoy. I mean, I would say performance-wise, I'm enjoying myself much more on stage than I did back in the day.
You must still get a kick out of it, surely.
Of course. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, in a totally different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, also looking at the people on the bill, is there much kind of is there any bitchiness? Is there anyone saying I want the biggest dressing room? Because you've got big names, haven't you?
I think back in the day there probably would have been a lot of. There wouldn't be much space for the egos, but everyone's grown up a bit. And
that's what's so fun is that everybody's kind of over that in a place in their life where they're relaxed and.
Do you believe them?
I'm not sure.
That's true. It's true. We have to tell you that we're starting on July the 1st in London at the O2.
So you've got quite a long time to practice, anyway.
Absolutely. I've got a new single out on the 18th of October called Pentonville Blues, so I'll plug
that. Now listen, guys, we've had a couple of questions sent in by viewers to our Facebook page, and Sharon, good evening to you, wants to know if you two might record a duet together.
Oh, I would love that.
Well, maybe.
You heard it here
never
first.
know.
Yeah, come on, give us an
Never know.
exclusive.
I don't know.
never know.
I always say, I come on a lot after Belinda, and I always say, like, that she's a prophet because heaven is a place on earth. It's something I've discovered. You know, it's a real Buddhist song, I've realised. So who knows? We might do something spiritual together.
Yeah, you never know.
Another one from one of our viewers, Ian, got in touch to ask Belinda if there's any chance of a reunion with the Go-Go's.
Well,
No, it's a good one though.
no. Well, we were supposed to go. We broke up earlier in the year, and we were going on our farewell tour, and then Jane fell off a cliff.
Oh.
Metaphorically
Okay.
and literally. I love that. It's so dramatic, isn't it? But it's true. She did, and she shattered both of her knees, so we had to cancel. But we just got a star in the Walk of Fame in Hollywood, so we'll probably do a couple dates around that next year. I'm sure we will.
I saw one of your first gigs with the Go-Go's in London.
did?
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. It was great.
Well, listen, we're going to leave you two chatting. Thank you very much for coming, and we've got to move on. All the best, both. Thank you.
Good luck. Thank
Bye.
you. OK, so it's nearly mid-October, but today the sun was shining on the capital. Londoners took to the parks